So you didn't grow up with your biological father?
I did not.
Do you know him at all?
I'm getting to know him.
So you've met.
I actually just met him less than 48 hours ago. 30 years.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't want you to lose for me. You'll be my latest victim. Why would you wanna do that for me? Why you wanna do that?
I said, mirror, mirror on the wall. All of a sudden wanna call.
Do me a favor.
What's going on, brother?
Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Name.
Jimmy.
Where you from, Jimmy?
I was born in Atlanta, Georgia, raised in Virginia.
What's your occupation?
Producer, Rasta, partier, vibe.
Favorite producer?
J Dilla, Timbo, Swiss Beats.
If you had to pick one, who you choose?
Is that even a legal thing? Right now, we'll just go with J Dilla. I'd rather add Kanye on there too.
Just one.
J Dilla. J Dilla.
Let's reflect. When you look in the mirror, what do you see? Now, before you speak, give this 10 seconds and then answer.
When I look in the mirror, what do I see? I see someone that's building their self, someone that's still learning, someone that isn't perfect, someone that's a inspirer, somebody that wants to encourage people through their own things that they go through. What else I see is I see a good-looking, charming black man. And I see a good-looking, charming black man that's finally coming into his skin. That's what I see.
You say finally coming into your skin. What does that mean? Did you have problems with how you look?
You know, as I got older, I loved myself a lot more. And it's probably something that everybody else saw, but I couldn't see it myself. I wouldn't even say it's a thing of personal appearance. It's a thing of something internal, confidence. Really, that's the main thing, is confidence in myself, knowing who I really am. Coming to love my dark skin, coming to love all my features, whether I'm in great shape or whatever shape my body is. Coming to love who I am.
To the person who doesn't know it all, who is Jimmy?
Jimmy is somebody that's water. Jimmy is somebody that you can put inside of a glass and I will fit everywhere. Jimmy is somebody that will look you in the face and be who you ever want him to be, or whoever you want him to be. Jimmy's a monster, good or bad.
When you look in the mirror, What do you see that others may overlook?
I see somebody who, hmm, that's a really great question. That's a really great question. I see somebody who, come back to that one. Come back to that one.
Okay. If you had to name just one person, who's to blame for the person you are today?
Hmm, my father.
Now, are we talking your biological father or stepfather or
Both. Both fathers.
but when you thought about the father, who was you talking about?
Stepfather.
So stepfather has a big impact on who you are today.
Huge impact.
So you didn't grow up with your biological father?
I did not.
Do you know him at all?
I'm getting to know him.
So you've met.
I actually just met him less than 48 hours ago. 30 years. 30 years.
How was that?
Um, Experiencing emotions that I still really haven't embodied yet. Um, Somebody who I can look at physically and say that, okay, that's where I get my looks from, but still getting really to know who that person is.
Any emotions when you met him?
Well, we've been in contact since I was 18. Still haven't met him physically. Well, until the 48 hours. Just mostly over text. So the emotions when I met him was, it was almost like meeting almost anybody else. Um, it was a thing of, what do you say, like lack of attachment. One thing I struggle with already. I think I can see it when he looks at me. That is something that he definitely missed out on, but who I am, I'm really trying to tap in with those feelings to even really understand that and what it all really means.
Any resentment there for him?
Not at all. Everything happens for a reason.
These days, do you think people like you for you or because of the other side, JBlack?
That's a great question. I think that's for the people. um,
Let me
I
rephrase then.
okay.
Do you care?
Do I care?
Yes.
No. I think the thing is that, oh, you know what? Rewind that back. I do care. I'd be a liar if I said I didn't care. Um, we alter our looks. We move a certain way. We post certain things. My goal is to always inspire others. My goal is to inspire others not by my story, but more in a way to make people feel like they can achieve anything that they want to do. Um, so I'll do whatever that needs to be. So um, I'm going to resonate with the people. So I do care about what they think.
Jimmy, let's dive a little bit deeper. We all have moments of self doubt. Can you recall a time where self doubt entered the mind or a moment where negativity kind of kicked in?
Hmm. Getting caught into the chase.
Elaborate.
Getting caught into the chase is the facade of thinking of the things that you want. Better yet, the material things that you think that you want or that you think that you need. The surroundings that you think that you need. The clothes, the girls, the cars, whatever that is that you think that you need. Once you learn that that isn't the main focus, you kind of wake up to it. But it is nice. I'd be a liar if I said that, but I want to say the higher you go with that and the more materialistic things tend to go, the more real it doesn't feel.
What's a consistent struggle that you go through or continuously deal with presently?
Consistency.
You lack that?
Yes. Yeah. I would, yeah.
Let me add, is there anything traumatic or traumatizing about your past that affects you today?
Mm. I wouldn't say there's a particular situation or a particular time. I would say it's the thing that keeps reoccurring. Um, and it goes back into that consistency thing I was talking about, which is staying focused on a mission. You see, like, I would say dark skinned brothers just started getting in style just just a decade ago. Before that, it was a thing that, you know, it wasn't, we weren't getting noticed like that. And it's like had to work a little bit hard because you was a darkie. I hate to make this about color, but it is what it is coming from my skin, and this is about me. I would say the more traumatic thing for me is loving the skin that I'm in today. And I can sit here and I can look in the mirror and say that I love the skin that I'm in today. But I know if I were put to the test, I would probably fail. What are those tests? I don't know. Cut your locks off. Do you still think you will get the same motion? I don't know. I'm not going to try it because I know I get the motion with the lock. Am I going to stop making beats and posting on social media and being a social media star and see if I still got it after that? Nah, I'm not going to find out. I'm going to keep doing it. Am I going to dress down and go to something basic? Nah, I'm going to always put that stuff on. So that's where I'm at with it for real.
So you think that outer appearance is very important?
I think our appearance is very important. The first 7 seconds. We can sit here and say that, oh yeah, we don't judge people by their looks. Yeah, you do. At least the first 7 seconds before I open my mouth. So I got the Hellcat lock, star skin. You're gonna assume what you want, but I got your attention. After that, you get to see really who I am. I don't know, call it fake or facade, but I'm playing the part.
Mm.
I know I want to do what I want to keep doing. That's just kind of the trickery to it. Others might say, hey man, be yourself. Well, I am myself. These are just the moves I'm choosing.
Mm. Admit it. You are addicted to what?
I have no addiction to anything. I test myself thoroughly. I guess I just gave up weed again. um, I can prove to myself I can give up anything. I fall to no addiction. Now, I don't necessarily look at that as a good thing neither, because I feel like there goes that consistency word again. Well, if I was addicted to something, I'll stay a little bit more consistent with stuff. I can fall out of addiction very easy. You can take anything away from me and I'll be good without it.
There are low moments in every life. Describe one of your low moments.
one of my low moments. You know, I'm in therapy right now. And I am in a stage where I'm figuring out how to be more open and express these things. And almost like, you know, I guess in what you see in movies with therapy is they hold up pictures and they're like, what do you see? Right? And if I could give you what do I see when you first say low moments, I would say I had it this year. It's been the most up and down I've ever had. I don't even know if I can even go into detail. Unfortunately, it involves other people. And when I say that, it's because of the people that I may have hurt, people that I may have let down, people that I may have confused. And that's lower than me. It's one thing to get low on yourself, but when you lower down for other people, that's when it hurts the most. So now I can't really go into detail exactly what that low moment was, but I'll say it definitely was this year.
Do you get motivated off of negativity or positivity?
That's a good one. You see, when we're talking about motivation, negative or positive really goes out the window, and it's really subjective. Subjective on what you view as negative or positive. You see, something that dramatic can happen in my life might seem negative, but it might push me in a certain way that's going to give me positive results, and it might be something that I needed.
The turning point. Let's talk about a moment when everything turned around for you.
Everything's turning around for me every day, man.
I want the moment where you said, I'm the one now.
That's right now. I think that's right now. That's me betting on myself. I think the issue was I wasn't betting on myself. I think right now, because like I said, with 2024, it's been a year. I'm betting on myself. I would say that's going to be the big turning point. It wouldn't even be anything material. It wouldn't even be anything, any opportunity-wise, because I'm going to keep getting that. One thing I noticed about all the great opportunities that I was blessed with is I still feel the same. He's still the same person. I did more things than most producers could dream of being in my position. You're still battling stuff within, it's still gonna shine like a light. Going to therapy, going to the gym, focusing on my mission, and being there for people. That's my turning point.
What are some daily repetitions that you do to, I guess, stay on course?
Well, I deleted all social media off my phone. I was caught in the notion that because I make my money off social media and my brand is on social media, that I have to be around it all the time. I treat it like work, and I open it almost like email. So when I wake up in the morning, social media is not the first thing I check. I read. Right now I'm reading the 10X Rule, Grant Cardone. And then I go to the gym I make sure I eat healthy. And I make sure I have all of that done before 8 o'clock in the morning. That's just the beginning of the repetition that already starts my day and makes me feel great, and I can already see the difference. Planning out my day and being very intentional with all the moves that I do.
Name someone, maybe a mentor, that helped you get out of that low situation, that helped you be more creative, that pushed you past your mediocre level.
I'm looking at them. These right here. These right here. There's nobody. There's no one that I can be inspired. I can be motivated, goal-oriented by other individuals, but the person I'm staring at right now, that's the one. That's the one that pushed me to make these better decisions, to hold myself accountable. The guy I'm looking at right now.
So for everything that you've done, good, bad, the ugly, that person, do you honestly love that person?
I'm in love with that person. I love that person. That person is long coming and genuine, handsome. Yeah, I love that person.
When it comes to NPCs, you're the best.
Okay.
Talk about how that changed your life.
I think how it changed my life was something that I fell in love with, and that others can see that I fall in love with this thing, and motivates others to not necessarily hop on an MPC, but follow what they want to do, whatever they're in love with. I had somebody tell me the other day, like, man, I can tell this dude just loves music. I can just see it on him. You know, I only have, 500,000 followers and all this on different pages, probably 1 million across the board. I'm not saying anything. From me posting videos and just showing solely what I love. I think that says a lot about how that changed my life and what the MPC has done for it. Now, I don't want to materialize the MPC because I love the MPC, but I think that's just really anything that I fell in love with, whether it was the machine, whether it was a keyboard. I actually started on a keyboard before I moved to the MPC. Fun fact, back in the days at Best Buy, they used to have a music production room before they made it the Magnolia room for home theaters, and they had music equipment in there. And I used to go in there and they'd have these keyboards. And prior to that, I used to make beats on this Casio WK300. Old school keyboard, cheesy sounds, but I'd split the keys and have melodies on one side, drums on the other. Simultaneously playing, keeping the beat. Now, these weren't probably the best beats, but they were beats, man, and I loved them. You can tell I loved them. I only say that because, that same love that I had on that keyboard, I had on the MPC, and it was just a feeling. And I think it's a feeling that most people can feel. So now when I'm talking about this Best Buy experience, the first time I actually felt the love that I'm doing that motivated others was I would go to Best Buy and I'd go mess with the most expensive keyboard, Yamaha at the time. And I'd do the same thing. Go in there and split the keys and I'd, play the drums on one hand and play the melody. I'm talking about cheesy beats, but I had people on their flip phones recording me. And that's when I knew, I said, oh, I'm kind of special at this. I really didn't have too much keyboard and skills like that, It was just a talent, and you can just see it on my face that I really loved what I was doing. So whether it's the MPC, a keyboard, a drum, a trumpet, whatever it is, I put that love into it. It definitely inspires others to do the same thing.
So where you are today,
Okay,
how did you get there?
how did I get
Rather
there?
than somebody that's doing the same thing that you're doing.
Mhm.
How did you get there? Is it because of the love? Is it because of the drive? Is it because, what's the reason behind that?
I pretty much think you captured all of them. The love, the drive, people can feel that. People can know when you're faking, people can know when you really love something. There's over 1 million people watching what I do who really don't understand what I do. They just see me with a board in my lap, see me cheesing, and you just hear these beats coming out, but these beats sound so good. These beats sound so good that you might question it, but you also might say, he loves what he's doing. And that's good enough for them to say, you know what? I need to follow whatever that is that I want to do.
Finger Drumming Academy.
Uh-huh.
How did this come about?
Yeah. 2020. I was, actually, 2019 is when I moved back to Atlanta. I was working an IT gig. I was working from home. All the benefits. I'm talking about, I had health care, dental care. I probably even had, I had finger insurance. Boy, I had everything. And I was 26, 27 at the time. And I'm working from home, and I got this cush job. Something about it was kind of saying like, hey man, you can always do this, but you know, what you're doing on this music side can actually be something. Again, shout out to my boy Kato. He put out this Instagram post, and he said, when's the time for you to quit your job and do music full time? I was like, Now, luckily, Kato was one of my guys, so I actually called him up. I said, hey, Kato, man, you just put out a post, and it just kind of hit me, man. I'm working a normal job. And Kato was like, what? You working a normal job? I said, keep it on the low, brother. Yes, I'm working a normal job. 9 to 5. How do I get to the money in the music? He said, well, what do you like to do? I said, well, I like to make it. He said, well, do you like to sell beats? I said, well, I can. It's not something that I inspire to do. I can do it. He said, well, what about having a camp, you know, and just have a whole bunch of producers and stuff like that? I was like, well, kiddo, you know, I'm kind of an introvert, man. I want to throw a camp, a whole bunch of producers, you know. Well, he said, well, you do something great. How about you teach it? I said, And for me, because I loved it so much, you can't take that away from me. You can't take finger drumming away from me. You can't take my talent away from me. So I can show you everything that I do from the start. I have nothing to hide, because the more that I show you, the better I'm gonna get. So when Kato expressed that to me, I said, all right, bet. I'm gonna start something. So I started Finger Drumming Academy, and it was actually subscription based. It failed completely. I learned what subscriptions were. Subscriptions are very hard to maintain. Now, I'm not gonna say very hard to discourage anybody, but let me just say, somebody who never had any experience doing any subscription-based content, I fell straight on my face. Now, you can get somebody to sign up for $5.99, but you're gonna keep them for $5.99 is the biggest thing. At the same time, I told my father, my stepdad, and I told him, I said, I gotta quit my job. I said, I gotta struggle for a little bit. And he's like, all right, struggle. We're gonna make sure you got that rent. Yeah, I'm out of rent. So I worked in Uber. I drove Uber while I was trying to figure out this Finger Drumming Academy thing. While I was doing subscriptions, I'm putting out videos, just trying to make feasible content for everybody to really get their $5.99 worth. Never forget. Like I said, I was working a cush job, so I was making great money, so I was driving a Lexus IS 350. After I quit my job, you know, I did Uber, and I'm driving people around in this IS 350. And every time people would approach it, they're like, man, I didn't order Uber Black. I was like, nah, man, don't worry about it, man, just get it. You know, I'm figuring stuff out. And it wasn't until a moment where somebody, it was in the back seat. It was like, yo, you kind of look like that dude. I'm like, oh. I was like, I hope he's not talking about me. And he's like, nah, bro, you make beats. Keep in mind, I'm driving this, brother. Looking back in the back seat, like, nah, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like, relax. He was like, nah, bro. He goes on his phone, and he pulls me up and shows me while I'm driving in the back seat. He's like, nah, bro, that's you. Yeah, bro, you got me. He was like, bro, you doing like a prank or something? I was like, nah. He's like, nah. He was like, bro, I watch your videos all the time, man. You be killing it. I said, yeah, man. He's like, it's crazy you driving Uber right now. I said, I know, right? It's kind of crazy. And the inside, that's the most embarrassing feeling you can probably have, right? Dropped this guy off. And I went back to the airport. Now, I was living on the south side. Shout out Onet. And because I was living on the south side, I was doing Uber for the airport. I was still a little bougie. So I wasn't just picking up anybody. This is airport officials, but I was still recognized. So I remember I hopped right in the back seat. I said, I'm gonna give this a go. I got in the back seat. I set the camera up. I remember setting the camera up, rose the headrest up, and stuffed the iPhone right in the headrest. Yeah, probably one of my most vulnerable moments in life where I told people, hey, I know this subscription thing failed. I'm just trying to figure it out. My real name is Jimmy and I come from IT. I don't have any business experience. But I promise me, if you grow with me, I can guarantee you something that you won't regret. Now, this is probably the hardest video I had to make, because after getting recognized in the car driving Uber, I knew I couldn't drive Uber anymore. So I had to do something. So I made this video, closed it out, posted it. I was like, man, I can't even look at the comments because I'm like, man, this is beyond me. I never had to do something like this. I had to be real to myself. If I really wanted to do what I wanted to do full time. So I made this video, I posted this video, and it went crazy. Now, granted, I was desperate, so I was like, man, you know, $20 goddamn lessons, goddamn. I'm only taking 10 slots. I mean, I'm gonna have this thing filled right on up. And I changed it from subscription-based to actually doing one-on-one private lessons just over the phone. This was in 2019. So it was rolling. And then 2020 happened. You know, everybody had to stay home. And then it hit an all-time high. So then it went from JBlack, the person just making beats, cheesing on the camera, to JBlack, the educator. And that's where finger drumming came to be the six-figure business that it is today.
So to that 20-year-old younger you, what advice do you have for him?
Invest in Bitcoin, boy. Like, you should have got in there, my boy. You should have been buying property, my boy. You should have been spending your portfolio. Nah, you know, the advice that I give to the 20-year-old me is keep on the path that you're doing. Because if it wasn't for the bumps and bruises, it wouldn't make you the person who you are today. If I can go back and whisper all the things that I've learned now, I probably wouldn't be the person. I probably wouldn't be sitting right here doing the mirror talk. I feel like it takes a lot of mistakes and bumps and bruises to get into a certain point. There's been a couple times in life where I regret things. But then when it actually plays out, I'm like, okay, well, this happened for a reason. So, to my 20-year-old self, just keep doing what you're doing.
Any closing remarks? Anything you have for the viewers?
Be honest with yourself. That's a very cliche thing to tell anybody, is be honest with yourself. But I think as you get older and as you go through more experiences, it's gonna make a lot more sense. I'm not even gonna put an age on it, because life can age you. There's a lot of things that maybe when a 13, 14-year-old go through that I've never seen in my life. But just take those experiences and let them grow you and let them make you stronger. In closing, love yourself. Find those things. Look into a mirror. The beautiful thing about this show is a lot of people can't look at themselves in the mirror because you might see some things that might scare you. Hell, looking in the mirror is pretty spooky right now. But I'm able to face it. And you can too.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate you, man.
For sure.
You did it.
Yes, sir.
How that mirror?
I feel good, bro. I like it. I like that shit. Yeah. I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you.
Stare at that mirror for more than 30 minutes. It was like, hold up.
Yeah. Who is this?
You're right.
Who is he?
Really?
Who really is he is? Yeah. Yeah.
He's still looking at the mirror.
Nah, I look good.